If you took that clip of Dr. Oz, Donald Trump, and RFK Jr. and brought it back to like 1998, it's like unimaginable that that is a real clip that we just showed.
If you showed it to people mid-2021, they might still think it's a joke. Hey everybody, welcome back to SpeechCenter. Tim, we're recording this on the day of the rapture. You still seem to be in your clothes, so sorry it hasn't happened yet for you.
I never really had much hope, John. I've made some choices in my life. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be the shepherd. I think I've still got a little work to do.
I think you are being a shepherd, Tim.
Thank you.
On today's show, we're popping pills with Trump and RFK Jr., followed by Kamala Harris making her big return to the program. Delon trying to get Tim and I in trouble.
Speak for yourself. I'm like K-Hive, baby. I've got the t-shirt back here. It's got a B on it, and it's a hive, and it's a K, the letter K,
yep,
ketamine. And,
for sure.
And it's a black sorority, and I'm just like, boom, I'm there, 100%, 100.
Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. You shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire, and you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. First question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism, okay? Tell me about that one.
I've got good news. Can we start with some good news?
Yeah, hit me with some good news.
You know, I've been watching a lot of conspiracy theories. I've been spending a lot of time with Candace lately. That's not a body double. All right, we know that the president of the United States is his actual person. He's not the type of person to do a lot of, prep work for making a big announcement about what type of medicines pregnant women should be taking. Doesn't know how to pronounce the words. He's throwing out random things that he heard from somebody at the club.
He's making this announcement about acetaminophen, a word he had apparently not heard or hadn't heard enough to have it kind of ready at his disposal. Goes to the brand name Tylenol. Tough day at Tylenol HQ. Great day at Advil HQ.
Keg stands at the Advil HQ.
Trump also made the point in this event, a shocking point, that the Amish don't have autism, which would be, I think, important if it were true. It is obviously not.
What about the Quakers? Do we know about the Quakers? Have we canvassed?
There is an increase in diagnosis of autism, and maybe that increase in diagnosis hasn't hit the Amish, but that would probably have more to do with lacking Google.
Do you know what year Tylenol was invented?
What year was
came onto the market?
I don't actually.
You know what year it was?
What year was it?
1955. I just found this out this morning. 1955. There was some autism before 1955, which is another kind of hiccup in this theory. Did you know the other fact I've learned? I've been learning a lot of fun facts. I'm kind of like a lib RFK right now.
Sure. You're
I'm
digging
just
in.
like, people are telling me things. Like, it's a little different than lib RFK because I've got a lot of doctors in my life, so I have doctors sending me things.
Sure.
There was one Harvard study that showed some relationship between Tylenol usage and autism rates. It was we're very far away from proving anything. Could have been incidental. There are studies that show a closer tie and a different kind of behavior. Do you know what that might be? Do you have any guesses?
Does it have to do with the age of the man?
Geriatric sperm.
Yep.
Then they're spitballing on a lot of different topics. The Cubans, the Amish, they're freelancing, weaving. That was one idea that didn't come up, actually. It was that old men shouldn't be sleeping with younger women because that might be part of the issue.
If you're worried that it's only Tylenol that's to blame for autism, have no fear. There was more.
When you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses, and you spread it out over a period of years. They pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies, it's a disgrace. They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess. We want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel. Hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So I would say wait till the baby is 12 years old.
It's an interesting age to pick.
I don't like
there.
that. I don't like that.
That's kind
I
of
don't like that.
It's kind of like, well, I know nothing about the hepatitis B vaccine because the reason we give it to babies is not in case the baby got a sexually transmitted disease naturally, but because the mother might have it and you wouldn't want the mother passing it down to the baby. But based on Trump's framework, they're believing that it was a STD vaccine. It is intriguing that the year he just picked out of the hat there for when a girl might want to start taking an STD vaccine would be 12.
Baked into all of this is that there's some nefarious group of doctors who are, without evidence, trying to over-vaccinate or too quickly vaccinate America's children, when what is happening is a group of people trying to protect kids are gathering to figure out the best way to get as many kids vaccinated as possible. And he makes a point later in this that, like, why not delay it? Why not delay it? Well, because if you split them up too much and divide them and delay them, some kids won't get all their shots. They just won't, whether because their access is less convenient, because their parents have to take off work, because they have to go to a clinic, because they don't have the kind of healthcare that Donald Trump has had his entire life and can't imagine any other form of it. But over a huge population, a delay in vaccination can cause more people to get very sick.
Pretty dark on that front. I mean, like, you have to laugh kind of because, like, it's just so unbelievably dark. That is real. I was thinking as I was watching the clip, I'm sorry to change the subject to something less real. If you took that clip of Dr. Oz, Donald Trump, and RFK Jr. and brought it back to like 1998 and like showed it to people from 1998, it's like unimaginable that is a real clip that we just showed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think you need to
our existence
go back that far. Like, if you showed that to people in mid-2016 and said, this is our future, it would seem like a joke. Honestly, if you showed it to people mid-2021, they might still think it's a joke. The, like, horseshoe theory, too, like, just playing out on this one specific issue where you have this dilettante environmental lawyer speaking to the resonating frequency of some of the worst liberals on earth, the kind of, like, hippy-dippy, rich...
competitive category.
Rich California parents who believe in homeopathic remedies all the way over to the very conspiratorial right. Having a anti-vax Kennedy at the helm of HHS feels to me like exogenous to the Trump project, you know? It's just like, it's a coincidence. It's crank alignment. It's crank alignment.
I think it is less about the merits of the particular conspiracy and more about, like, this is a really good lightning rod for signaling to conspiracists that you have a home with us.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, there's this new conspiracy theory floating around, Tim. I don't know that you've seen it.
I'm sure I have.
Basically, MSNBC, perhaps in cahoots with Deep State, have colluded to create a fiction. And the fiction is that in the run-up to the 2024 election, anticipating that if Trump won, he might have a role in the administration, Tom Homan accepted a $50,000 bribe in exchange for steering contracts if he ever were to enter government again. Tom Homan is appointed, but so is, of course, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, and lo and behold, the investigation is closed.
Kind of a failure of imagination on behalf of the Biden DOJ there.
Yeah, not their first. Perhaps their last.
Yeah.
Let's roll the clip of Karoline Leavitt talking about this from the White House.
So, too, on the Homan investigation, I mean, can you just speak to, did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Homan have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Homan did absolutely nothing wrong, and even the president's Department of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI, looked into this just to make sure. They had a number of different prosecutors and FBI agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing. In the White House and the president stand by Tom Homan 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the president shut down the border.
There's a tape.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a tape of him taking the 50,000. He was on Laura Ingraham later in the night, and she asked him about this, and he notably was not quite as definitive. He's focused more about how he didn't do any crimes.
I'm not a lawyer, Tim. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
You can't take $50,000 in cash on the promise of steering government contracts, but then if you don't actually ultimately do exactly what you said you would do with the bribe, you haven't suddenly just been given a free, crime-free 50 grand.
Also, it's totally outside of what would have even been thinkable as far as past administrations. Like, you just think about like people who have not gotten jobs in the cabinet because like they didn't pay taxes on their nanny and like crazy. So people have been run out of administrations for like things like that don't even approach this over the past decades. And so I don't know. I guess my one thought about this is it's like so brazen, it's so obvious, it's so easy to understand. I do hope and believe that the Democrats can use this as an anti-corruption message in a way that I think might register with folks.
We remember, I know you remember, in part because of the salaciousness of it, when William Jefferson had a brick of cash in his freezer.
In his freezer.
Yeah. And there was a picture of the open freezer with the money in it. Bob Menendez with a gold brick. These things break through because they're so obvious and like speak to what like a bag of cash to steer government contracts. That's the example you use to teach people what corruption is in school.
Yeah. And to the border czar, to a guy people know also. It's not just like, some mid-level person at HHS or something. It's like the fucking dude who's on TV talking about the mask guys grabbing people off the street, who are like gardening.
And a guy that you can actually see in a pair of like suspenders on a white suit with a big white hat, muscling Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, He's just got that look. And finally, back on the field after a very tough season, Kamala Harris returns to talk about her new book, 107 Days. Here she is on Rachel Maddow getting asked how she feels about Democratic rookie in sports. So, because he's, he's been in the assembly, Zohran Mamdani.
Arguably the fastest rising star right now in Democratic politics is Zohran Mamdani. What do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race, sure. But let me just say this. He's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world, and here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
And I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor, too, and they are stars. So I hope that we don't so over-index on New York City that we lose sight of the stars throughout our country who are right now running for mayor and many other offices, governor, and so on.
Shout out Barbara Drummond. Drummond Mentrum sweeping the nation. What if she's related to Andre Drummond, former center for the Detroit Pistons?
Thank you for that. Here's the thing. She's endorsing Zohran. She does kind of that strange I support the Democratic nominee thing, which is sort of like an odd way of not being just completely direct. I don't see what the nervousness is, but okay.
We just said it was a better answer than Hakeem's, barely.
Right.
I had Hakeem on the pod recently, and I was just like, I used to be a Republican. I'm a capitalist. I don't like socialists. Zohran and I disagree on a lot of things. It's like, just say, I'm for Zohran. It's not that close, really. He's running against a criminal and a sex pest and a dude in a beret. Like, those are the choices. Like, that's it.
Whenever you endorse whatever kind of people you're worried about being upset will be upset. Trump is going to call you a socialist regardless of how measured your endorsement is. You see this now playing out with a number of people that you can't say something true if there's some discomfort in it without doing all the throat clearing around it first. Right? We see that all the fucking time. As if the people seeing your statement, either you don't trust them enough to understand that this truth doesn't negate any of your other views, right? Or you don't trust yourself enough to be so clear in your convictions that people understand what you stand for day to day, that you don't have to do this work of massaging every statement to include all your ancillary views. Like, you can't just say you oppose political violence. You have to say, I oppose political violence, but. You can't just say I endorse someone. You have to say I endorse, but. You're like, there's this carefulness and this idea that like people are not adults and able to receive a clear truth about the main thing. And maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe people can't handle it. I don't know.
think so, because imagine anybody talking like this in real life. This is the problem. Nobody talks like this. Like, imagine being at a restaurant with someone. You're at a group dinner. You go out to the dinner, you go around, maybe you're at a steak restaurant, everybody's ordering, they come around to you, and you're like, I've got some concerns about the climate when it comes to the amount of steak that we're consuming these days, and I generally don't do it. I'm generally a salad person, but, while we're here today, given the options on the menu, Charmaine over here picked this restaurant. I did it. Okay. And I'm settling on the ribeye. It's like, you would look at that person like, you are a lunatic. I'm never going to dinner with you again. Like, just talk normal. Just be like, I'm going to have the ribeye. And then afterwards, you can make a little joke out of it. Not a big ribeye person, really, but whatever. It's pretty good. That's why I'm having a martini. Wash it down better. Just talk like a human.
All right, that's where we have to leave it.
What a show.
What a show it was. I say goodbye to the one, the only, Tim Miller, still walking among us, not yet raptured.
What a great SpeechCenter.
What a great episode. It'll cut down beautifully. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Please help us build out this channel and all the other channels here at Crooked Media. You can also become a paid subscriber and get a bunch of bonus content and ad-free shows. It helps us build a progressive counterweight to the right-wing media ecosystem that is currently pumping out some pretty noxious stuff. And with that, Tim, can't wait to see you in heaven.
I endorse it. We'll see you soon. Become a Crooked Plus subscriber.
Yeah.
It's just so great. It's good. You get to listen to Jon Favreau in the Discord. And it's a whole different experience. So I've heard. I'm not a member. I've been hoping to be granted one, but I probably should pay for one. I feel bad about
I pay
that.
for Bulwark.
Okay,
I pay for Bulwark. Bye, Tim.
You started this late. It's new.
I started 5 minutes late. Get out of here.
Bye.